Urine. You have no soap, no disinfectant, no cleaning chemicals, and ancient people looked at the one liquid nobody wanted, urine. Disgusting? Yes. Useless? Not always, because old urine breaks down into ammonia, and ammonia cleans. Ancient Romans collected urine for laundry, for tanning leather, for processing wool. They even taxed it. The Emperor Vespasian was linked to the famous idea, money does not smell. But here is the important part. This was not a magic survival drink. Modern doctors warn against drinking urine. It contains waste, it contains salts, and when you are dehydrated, it becomes even more concentrated. So the real survival method was not drink pee and live. The real method was stranger. Ancient people noticed that waste could become a tool. They did not know the chemistry, but they saw what worked. And sometimes, survival started with noticing the thing everyone else ignored. Maggots. You have a wound. It is deep. It smells wrong. The flesh is turning dark. In the ancient world, that could mean one thing. You might lose the limb, or the wound might take your life. Then someone brings maggots. Not a knife, not medicine in a bottle. Maggots. It sounds like horror. But with the right kind of larvae, it was medicine. Maggots eat dead tissue. They mostly leave healthy tissue alone. They help clean the wound. They reduce bacteria. They worked like tiny, living scalpels. Battlefield doctors noticed it too. Some soldiers with maggots in their wounds healed better than expected. And today this is still real. Hospitals use sterile medical maggots for certain difficult wounds. Ancient healers did not understand infection, but they saw the pattern. The wound was dying. The maggots came. And somehow, the patient had a better chance. Clay. You are pregnant, sick, hungry. Your stomach feels wrong and suddenly you crave dirt. Not random dirt, a specific clay. This is called geophagy, eating earth. It has appeared across Africa, the Americas, ancient Greece, and many other places. For a long time, outsiders dismissed it as superstition. Then scientists studied the clay, and the story became more complicated. Certain clays can bind toxins. They can calm irritation in the gut. They can help make some dangerous foods safer. Native Californians mixed clay with acorns. Acorns contain bitter tannins. Prepared badly, they are hard on the body. Prepared correctly, they become food. In the Andes, some communities ate clay with certain wild potatoes. Because some wild potatoes contain natural toxins, the clay helped make them safer. But this was not simply eat dirt and survive. Not all clay is safe. Some clay can contain heavy metals. Some can contain parasites. So the knowledge had to be specific. Which clay? Which food? When to use it? Ancient people were not just guessing. They were remembering. And that memory kept people alive. Coca leaves. You are 4,000 meters above sea level. Your head is pounding. Your lungs feel too small. You cannot eat. You cannot think. The mountain is winning. Andean peoples had an answer. Coca leaves, not cocaine. The whole leaf. Chewed slowly, or brewed into tea. For centuries, coca has been used in the Andes for altitude, hunger, fatigue, and pain. It gives a mild stimulant effect. It helps people keep moving when the air is thin. Miners chewed it. Travelers carried it. Communities built rituals around it. Spanish colonizers tried to restrict it, but they ran into a problem. Without coca, workers in the highlands struggled. The plant they dismissed as primitive was helping people survive one of the hardest environments on Earth. Even today, travelers in places like Cusco are offered coca tea, not because it is magic, because the tradition came from a real problem: thin air, weak bodies, long roads, and a leaf that helped people keep going. Brain surgery. High in the Andes, ancient surgeons did something that sounds impossible. They opened skulls with stone tools. No modern hospital, no CT scan, no electric drill, no modern anesthesia. This was trepanation, a hole cut into the skull, maybe to treat head injuries. maybe to relieve pressure, maybe after battle trauma. And the shocking part is this: many patients survived. We know because some ancient skulls show bone healing. That means the person did not die immediately. They lived long enough for the skull to begin repairing itself. In some ancient Peruvian samples, survival rates were far higher than you would expect. Some studies place Inca period survival around 75 to 83%. That is not luck, that is skill. They learned where to cut, how deep to go, how not to kill the patient. Cold mountain air and plant medicines may have helped, but the real secret was repetition. One generation learned, the next improved. Mistakes became knowledge. Knowledge became technique. Fire farming. Fire looks like destruction, but used carefully, fire can prevent destruction. For thousands of years, indigenous Australians used controlled burning, small fires, cool fires, seasonal fires, at the right time, in the right place, for the right reason. It cleared dense underbrush. It encouraged useful plants. It attracted animals. It reduced the fuel that could feed huge fires later. To outsiders, the land looked wild, untouched, empty. But it was not empty. It was managed, maintained, gardened with fire. Then colonization disrupted those systems. Traditional burning was restricted. Fuel built up. Land management changed, and the land became more vulnerable. The 2019 to 2020 Australian bushfire season burned millions of hectares. Nearly 3 billion animals were affected. Climate change, extreme heat, and drought made it worse. But many ecologists now agree on something important. Ancient fire knowledge still matters. Modern Australia is bringing some cultural burning back, because the old method was not primitive. It was land science written in smoke. Ocean navigation. The Pacific Ocean is enormous. Empty, open, deadly. No road signs, no GPS, no compass, no modern charts. Just canoes, and still, Polynesian navigators crossed it. They reached Hawaii, New Zealand, Easter Island, Tahiti, Tonga, Samoa. They did not drift there by accident. They navigated. They memorized stars. They read ocean swells. They watched birds. They studied clouds. They noticed floating debris. They felt the movement of the canoe. Some navigators could sense deep ocean swell patterns through their bodies. Knowledge was passed through chants, songs, stories, years of training. Then colonization and modern navigation nearly erased it. But in the 1970s, the canoe Hokulea helped prove the old system still worked. It sailed using traditional wayfinding, no modern instruments, and it changed how people understood Polynesian history. They did not survive despite having no technology. They built technology out of attention. The sky was the map, the ocean was the compass, and the human body was the instrument. Fermentation. You have no fridge, no freezer, no cans, no preservatives. Fresh food spoils fast. Milk turns, grain rots, vegetables decay. Then humans discovered fermentation, maybe by accident, maybe by hunger, maybe by leaving food alone and noticing it changed. Fermentation made food last longer. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. It changed flavor. It changed nutrition. It helped preserve harvests through winter. It broke down compounds that made some foods harder to digest. It created acids and alcohols that made food harder for harmful microbes to invade. Beer, yogurt, cheese, kimchi, miso, sourdough, vinegar. Almost every culture found fermentation because almost every culture had the same problem. Food dies. People starve. Fermentation slowed that clock. Ancient people did not know bacteria were doing the work. They only knew this: the food lasted, the stomach survived, and winter became less deadly. Ancient survival was not about being perfect. It was about paying attention and living long enough to tell someone else. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for similar ones next.